Hey guys, Lord Dilly back again. A little sick, but felt like I had to get on here and go over a couple of plays from this Cowboys game on Thursday. A couple calls from officials. It's still driving me nuts. I put a video up last week right after the game. It's doing pretty well view-wise. Thank you guys for that. A lot of you hate me, which is cool, man. I love it. Love the debate. And I'm going to go over the Anthony Brown pass interference, the fourth one. I can't believe I'm saying 4 pass interference calls in the game. Jesus. But we're going to look at that last PI in overtime again. And then I also want to go in depth on the Neal fumble play and why that really pissed me off during the game, to be honest. Kind of the series of events that transpired and why I think it was a super sketchy call and why the NFL officiating could have been better on that particular play. And speaking of officiating, you know, a lot of people pretend that it's heresy for some reason to call out officials after the game. And it's gotten to the point in this league where officiating is an equal phase in the game. You've got offense, you've got defense, you got special teams, and you have officiating. And that just is the way it is. Oftentimes these games come down to one possession, to one score. And to have officiating be as bad as it is, I mean, Lions fans know what I'm talking about. It's plagued them for years. This isn't just about the Cowboys. Raiders fans too. Even Thursday, the Raiders got a few bad calls too that could have ruined the game for them as well. And then they would have been bitching and complaining about it, just like I am. You know, so officiating in this league has gotten so inconsistent and varies crew by crew and even call by call. What's called 5 minutes ago might not be a penalty 5 minutes later because these refs, we're relying on these old refs. We're relying on their eyes and these boom plays to pick up all these things when we have all this technology available to utilize. And they refuse to do it. And I just think it's time that we have a legitimate conversation without being, you know, criticized for criticizing the refs. And it is what it is. All right. With all that being said, let's get into this Neal play.
And you got Parsons, you got Diggs.
I mean, each level, and Dan Quinn is a great coordinator.
2nd and 8. Again, pass with some zip, and it's fumbled, heading out of bounds, and tossed back into save it at the last moment.
All right, so here you see balls in the air. Receivers running horizontally. Keep that in mind. This is very important. He's running horizontally. Catches the ball. Only takes 2 steps, but that's okay. You're going to notice here balls across his body. He's turning upfield. Okay. Now I'm going to let this play out. You're going to see Neal's crazy, awesome toss back in to save this ball from going out of bounds. Play of the year by Neal. It's a shame it got wiped out. But on this next replay here, right after this, I'm going to show you why this was a catch, and then I'm going to explain why I was disappointed in what happened with the officiating on the field. You've got, pause it. You got catch. Okay, notice he's running horizontally. Ball's on this side of his body. Ball makes its way across his body. Okay. You're going to see ball gets punched out. Now, it's very important to note. When he plants this foot right here, he is now turning upfield to run vertical. Okay. It's very important. This is the act, taking the ball from this side of his body and putting it on this side of his body. And he's in the motion of tucking it away. That's considered a football move. Turning your body, planting your foot and heading upfield is considered a football move. All right. That's textbook. That's in the rule book. Textbook 101. What's a football move? All right. There he goes. Ball's out. Notice when the ball gets punched out, he's heading up the field at that point. Okay. That's not my gripe. I think it's a catch. Obviously, I'm biased. So take that for what it is. My issue is what transpired after the play with the officiating. There was no official review. They called it a catch and a fumble on the field. They let it play out. Okay. About 90 seconds went by, 120 seconds goes by, and they are on the phone with New York, apparently, with no official review. They're talking to New York, trying to get the play right. And New York tells them to change the ruling on the field. Again, this was not an official review. They didn't go under the hood. There was no official review announced. So technically, Mike McCarthy can still challenge this play. But why in the hell would he do that when New York already called down and said, hey, you all need to change this call and make sure it's an incomplete pass? That's literally what happened, according to the broadcast. Okay, according to Romo and Nance, the referees were on the phone talking to New York. That's what New York told them to do. Why is that? Why would they do that? I'm not saying there's some sort of conspiracy. I'm saying without an official review announced on the field and without going underneath the hood, why would they be on the phone with New York to change the ruling on the field? All right. Because if this is ruled a catch and a fumble, it's not going to get overturned. If it's ruled an incomplete pass, it's not going to get overturned. Whatever the call on the field is, it's too close to overturn it. So, you know, I think it's reasonably acceptable for anybody, not just Cowboys fans, but for anybody who's a fan of the game, for a play like this, an amazing play of the year so far for this team, the top 10 play. It's reasonably frustrating for us and for anybody who's a fan of the game. All right. I've said my piece there. Let's move on to the next one.
Watch Jackson on the near side. Carr was looking at him. Now he goes the other side. Down the field to Zay Jones. That's going to generate another flag on Anthony Brown for the 4th time today.
All right, guys. So here's what I need to know. Keep in mind the term forcible contact. I understand that he didn't get his head turned around. I understand that, you know, the officials specifically look for that, or else, you know, if there's too much contact without turning your head around, it's an automatic flag. I get all that, guys. The term that I need you to keep in mind while you watch this is forcible contact, because not turning your head around in and of itself is not a penalty. You're allowed a face guard. About 5-6 years ago, they put an emphasis on that. It actually happened in the Cowboys-Lions game, which I know was a hugely controversial call where Anthony Hitchens put his hands up and the ball hit him in the back, and initially it was a flag. They picked it up, whatever. Okay, that's face guarding 101. That's textbook face guarding, and that wasn't a penalty. All right. Now keep that in mind here on this penalty, and I want you to tell me where the forcible contact is. I'm going to play it. All the hand checking that happened before the ball was thrown, by the way, that's legal hand checking. That's the receiver and the DB going back and forth. That's not a penalty. Okay. Let me bring this back a second so you can watch it in its entirety. Okay. Ball hits him right in the back of the head. Doing. Okay. He's not looking back for the ball, so he gets less leeway as far as contact goes. That's just how it works. Okay. Even though it's not illegal to not turn your head around, you can't have much contact if your head's not turned around. Okay. But I need to know, where is the forcible contact here? Look, he's got his hand on his arm. All right. He's not restricting any movement. He's just playing the receiver. Okay. Receiver goes airborne. Keep this in mind. The receiver is not coming back for the football. The receiver is airborne. They're both heading this direction. My cursor. They're both heading this direction down the field. The ball is purposely underthrown. Props to Carr for purposely underthrowing this football, trying to draw a flag on 3rd and 18. It's a brilliant move by him, because he knows these refs were super flag happy this day. And I mean, this was going to draw a flag no matter what here. Okay, but keep in mind the receiver is not trying to come back for the football. He's trying to catch the ball over the back of the DB. Okay, DB has a right to be there. He should turn his head around, but he doesn't. All right, it's unfortunate. So he gets a little less leeway. But I need to know, where is the forcible contact that restricts the receiver's movement? It's not there, guys. There is no forcible contact. Is Anthony Brown supposed to duck so the receiver can make a play on the ball? Okay. The whole point of being a cornerback is to make sure the player can't make a play on the ball. All right. And I hate the way this rule is written, because it states that the defender has to allow the receiver to reasonably make a play on the football. But that defeats the whole purpose of being a defender. Anthony Brown didn't make forcible contact here. All right. The receiver gave him a nice big hug on his helmet. Nice big Thanksgiving Day hug. He's very grateful that he got to play the Cowboys and got this officiating crew. He's very happy. He'd want to give the player a hug. All right. The ball comes in and doinks Anthony Brown in the back of the helmet. It's an underthrown football. Are we supposed to penalize the defender for an underthrown football? All right, then we all know what happened next. There's about 85 offsides penalties on the Cowboys trying to jump the snap, block the kick. That was pretty crazy. I know the Raiders had a couple bad calls. They had that weird false start, which I don't even know how to describe that. That was one of the craziest penalties on the day. They had 2 bad holding calls. Let's not pretend though, because both teams had 14 penalties, that all penalties are the same. Cowboys had like 6 or 7 drive continuing 3rd down calls that kept the Raiders on the field, and probably 3 of those were bad calls. You had a rough in the pass from Micah Parsons that led to a touchdown, which was crazy. Derek Carr just dove into his knees. All right. I'm making excuses for the Cowboys. Cowboys still had plenty of chances to win this game. You had Dak miss a throw in overtime. He missed a wide open Gallup for the go-ahead score earlier on. All right, guys. So I understand that, like I said in the beginning of the game, officiating is a phase of the game, just like the other 3 phases of the game. But let's not ignore it. All right. We need to talk about it. The refs are screwing up games. Whether you agree with that PI or not on Anthony Brown, that's one thing. All right. There was probably between 10 to 14 calls on this game that were highly, highly, highly debatable calls outside of the Anthony Brown PI. Forget that for right now. This was a horribly officiated game for both teams. And to pretend otherwise is just asinine, and you don't know what you're talking about if you think this was a well officiated game. All right, guys, let me know what you think below. Whether you hate me, whether you love me, let me know. I love to debate. So let's go ahead and get at it, guys. And hey, I hope you all have a great day. All right. Thanks for watching.